I enjoyed the role I had in Misfits this year. I've wanted to learn a lot more about the organizational side of things. And so I will be returning to that when I can, but I can't speak to when that will be because none of it matters if the League of Legends team isn't successful. So that's the number one priority.
Hello everyone, this is Darius from the Shotcaller. I'm judging my moves on a squeaky chair. But you are back in head coach position. Explain to me what was the situation like with Misfits? When did you fly in, and when were you reinstated, and what have you changed since?
So Saturday night we played Rogue. The night that we lost to Rogue, Ben essentially messaged me and said that Sunday morning that he wanted me in Berlin by Monday. And I was in LA at the time working with our Overwatch team. So pretty much packed up my bags, flew out of LA, landed here on Monday. And around, I think, Sunday late evening is when Ben told me that he made the decision to put me in as a head coach. So Monday I landed. We had Monday, Tuesday off from scrims because we wanted people to reset and sort of set expectations and recover. And then Wednesday, just 2 days of scrims, Wednesday, Thursday. So.
You obviously have a lot of experience with working with Hans Sommer and Maxwell in particular. When you came into the team house and the team environment, what was the mood like, and what was your personal take on okay, this needs to be fixed, this needs to be fixed? Hans, Max, can we talk about this?
The mood overall was, so outside of the game, people have been pretty nice to each other, but obviously after the Rogue night, a lot of the issues in this team between the players come from in-game ideas or values or whatever they hold for how they want to play. And so after Rogue, I think that finally spilled over and things were quite bad. When I came down, I had a talk with the whole team about the fact that the way things were going obviously weren't okay, and we made a coaching change, but it's so easy, I feel, when a team makes a change and they have results to just assume that the change is the reason, which isn't the case. The reality is that when you have 5 players of this caliber and you go 1-7, the players drop the ball somewhere as well. We as an org dropped the ball somewhere as well. We didn't do a good enough job providing them the resources to figure out how to fix it as well. So it was a huge clusterfuck from everybody. And so that's the talk I had with all of them when we landed, which was that it was do or die time, and whether we liked it or not, all of us, from staff to players, we had to step up and try to change things around. So the 2 days of scrims were still extremely stressful, but I think we're starting to break through, at least get to the root of a lot of the issues that we have.
So what did you have to break through in the first place?
So a big thing that's been an issue with the roster is a direction and vision for how we want to play the game and how we want to use laners and how they see the game and what they value. You have a lot of different styles and teams. You have a team like G2 where everyone's just playing to their limits, and it's 3 laners and a jungler always playing aggressive. So it's hard to punish, even though there's always windows where you can punish, because you don't actually know where to punish within the game. But then you have the other style. You have the more traditional, like the Shotcaller style currently, which is a more traditional League of Legends. You play slow standard, you play your fundamentals, and then every team kind of lands somewhere in the middle of that. And we were struggling to figure out where we should land, because we have a lot of players that want to play a certain style and play to certain limits, and we have other players that want to play a really clean fundamental gameplay, and then some that want to be in the middle. So it's a huge issue. It has been getting ourselves on the same page in regards to that, and then also at the same time being accountable for our own mistakes or our own inability to get things done.
In terms of authority almost, or coming in as a head coach, did you have to at one point put your foot down and say, okay, this is going to be my decision and you guys have to follow this now, and this is going to be the trend or the way we're going to play the game?
I think day one, the org kind of decided that when they made the switch to me, that something had to change. And so obviously if they're bringing me in, then they want me to force certain changes in that weren't there before. But even despite that, I personally as a coach, I always try to strike the balance between authority and collaboration. I feel like when you can convince 2 or 3 players to have a common goal, it's much stronger than if you teach them to have a common goal. But obviously that's not always possible. So recently it's been a lot of forcing things through, and mostly reteaching fundamentals to players that already know them but aren't applying them. And then outside of that, where possible, we're collaborative. But if there's something that we can't agree on, then I'll pick a direction. We'll go.
Sounds like a good mix for sure. I recently read an interview with one of my favorite coaches, and it was very interesting because he was in the situation, or he's currently in the situation, he's a Bundesliga coach, and he's 32, and there are players in the team like one striker, oldest Bundesliga striker who ever scored a goal, by the way, Claudio Pizarro, who is 40 years old and 106 days. Very important fun fact, because he recently scored it and
You're not a fan at all, right?
broke a record. No, totally not at all. And so there are other players that are within his age range, 30, 32, and that kind of stuff. But he very distinctively made the call to say, hey, it's about respect, and I need to be the coach, and I'm not allowed to be friends with any of the players. What is your personal approach when it comes to that, upholding a barrier like that?
So I told him that there's going to be a version of me that they're going to see that they haven't seen before, because I had a very different role in the company, and the way I approached them was very different back then. And they might have disagreements. Things will get heated. They will. I hope they get pissed off at me when they should. As long as at the end of the day, all of them have buy-in towards, once we choose a direction, they all have buy-in to it. Whether they agree or disagree, they commit to it. So it was made clear day one that in this role, making changes and forcing things through is a lot more important than having a good relationship with me. And if having a bad relationship with me means that the players aren't, arguing with themselves a lot, then that's fine. They're all very smart people. They know how to separate real life from their own personalities. And honestly, it's been a very difficult time since the roster was formed, because we weren't doing, as people know, we weren't doing well in scrims when we formed as well. But up till the rogue loss, I think all the personalities, or if not most of the personalities, did a really good job separating gameplay and professional issues from their work life and their relationships with each other. So there's not too much for me to do. For the most part, they're all quite grown up. But there is a pretty big gap now in when and how I approach them versus what I was doing before.
So what is now the plan for the future? Are you gonna stay with the team as the head coach for, say, summer split, or is the team gonna look for a new coach for summer and you're gonna return to your old role?
We haven't had that talk yet. Literally, I've landed, and then I've just been working on this. So I think we'll probably have a conversation, upper management and me, about what the direction is going forward in the next week or two. Long-term speaking, I enjoyed the role I had in Misfits this year. I've wanted to learn a lot more about the organizational side of things. And so I will be returning to that when I can, but I can't speak to when that will be, because none of it matters if the League of Legends team isn't successful. So that's the number one priority.
Of course, and when potentially Worlds and stuff like that is on the line, and playoffs is on the line, and titles are on the line, I have a feeling that you might get back into the feeling of wanting to win, of course.
I mean, I love coaching, so it's not, I didn't step away or I didn't move to a different position because coaching was the issue. I was personally quite burnt out just from the fact that I'd been there from since day one, and even past coaching since the org was new when I joined it, there was just a lot that was demanded from everybody, and me personally, I needed a little bit of a break and a little bit of a reset just to kind of figure out what I want to do long term, where I want to go, what I want to learn. I felt like I was stagnating a little bit as a coach as well, because I hadn't done a good job just taking a step back and just looking at my work and where I need to improve on. So I've kind of had that now. But the actual, like, when I'm in season and I'm coaching and I'm almost every single split except for 2018 spring, I've made it to the big stage, to the road events. Nothing beats that feeling. Nothing beats being up on that stage. And so, it's no matter what I do, I'm always going to love that. I'm always going to miss that if or when I move on. And I'm now that I have the chance, I'm just hoping that I get to experience that again.
Best of luck with that for sure. Anything you would like to say to the Misfits fans and a hashtag for the people that watch until the end?
Thank you for supporting us. It's been extremely difficult to split, but I promise you that we're all working extremely hard, players, staff, the whole org, to turning the ship around. And as you can tell, we're making some aggressive changes, and we'll keep doing that till we find the recipe for success for whatever that means for Misfits. So thank you for supporting us, and hashtag. I feel like I should prepare these beforehand when I know I'm doing an interview. Okay, let's do Hashtag Misfits 2019. All right, that was was botched.
I like 2018 better, but okay.
No, we don't talk about that year.
We don't talk about that year. Hashtag Misfits 2019. I won't mind if you put it. No, I'm just kidding. But yeah, make sure to follow Moose on Twitter and all his social channels. Of course, thank you so much for your time. And this was Darius from the Shotcaller. I hope you guys have a good day. Hashtag Misfits 2019. See you guys then. Bye-bye. We'd especially like to thank Krzysztof Bujnowicz, Etienne, Thomas Göttel, Dominik Bolze, Lazy Raven, Adam Novosviat, Erich Althaus, and La Maviota for your very special support. And of course, also, we'd like to thank all the people whose names you see scrolling past you right now. And of course, also all the people that like, comment, subscribe, and support our work. Without you, our work wouldn't be possible. Thank you very much.